Salt shaker, to the way make it. It's the salt for me. It's the salt for me. Salt shaker, to the way make it. It's the salt for me. It's the salt for me.
Hey, welcome to Season 2, Episode 2 of It's the Salt for Me, brought to you by The Salty Christian. I'm your host, Marie, and I'll be posting new episodes every other Tuesday. Please subscribe, share, and leave a review. Today, I want to talk about panic attacks. My panic attacks in particular, because I know that we do not all have them in the same manner. I don't remember exactly when I started getting panic attacks, but I know I was in my 20s when out of nowhere, I started getting really dizzy. It made my heart pound and scared the life out of me because I thought I was going to pass out. I was so scared I would shake. I would wake up in the middle of the night with the room spinning. I would grab my husband and tell him something was wrong and I needed to go to the emergency room. He never took me. He would always talk me down, and after a while, it would go away just as quickly as it came. The one thing I will say about panic attacks, for me anyway, is that once I started having them, I lived in fear for the next one. There was this constant thought of, when is it going to happen again? What's wrong with me? Do I have a brain tumor? Heart disease? Oh my God, I'm dying. It gave me a lot more anxiety. I was always a little anxious in my early 20s. I know that having anxiety puts you at an increased risk of experiencing a panic attack, but that doesn't necessarily mean you will. I was one of the lucky ones because, depression and anxiety just weren't enough. I had to have both, or now all three. I would describe it this way. Anxiety attacks are usually triggered by stress and build up over time, while panic attacks happen suddenly without warning, out of nowhere. I remember driving down the freeway once and suddenly getting really dizzy. My heart was pounding and I started sweating and shaking. Mind you, I have always been quite the little hypochondriac. So, of course, this is happening because clearly I'm dying. I turned the music up, put the windows down, and ferociously started rubbing my face. I didn't want to cause an accident. I was glad I was in the slow lane because I wasn't able to look to one side or the other without getting even dizzier. I try to talk myself down. Okay, Marie, you're being dumb. Nothing is going to happen. And in return, my mind would say, you're having a stroke. You need to get yourself to the hospital. If you do crash, at least someone would see it and call an ambulance. Oh, I need to make a will. What'll happen to my kids? I had to get off the freeway and pull over. I was eventually able to calm myself down, but from that day forward, I was only able to drive 2 exits at a time on the freeway before getting another attack. And I had quite a commute at the time. I would literally drive 2 exits and get off, then back on. I would do this over and over again until I got to work. To be honest, I still can't drive too far on the freeway. The last time I tried, I was with my daughter, who knows exactly what's happening to me. When I start rubbing my face and breathing a little harder, she knows, no matter how much I try to hide it. Anyway, I got off the freeway and stopped at the light before I turned. All of a sudden, I hear a police siren behind me. I start breathing harder, and I was already shaking. I pulled into a gas station and stopped. My daughter got out and ran inside to get me some water. Here comes the cop up to my window asking, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" I wanted to say, "Do you know why I pulled over?" But I didn't. I was too busy trying to live. He said I turned on a red signal, and I couldn't do that there. I told him I was having a panic attack, and I didn't see the sign that I couldn't turn right on a red signal. I think he could tell something was wrong. He probably thought I was on drugs. Honestly, he could have drug tested me, and I probably would have been happy because at least I would have gotten to the hospital. Anyway, I told him I got off the freeway to let my daughter drive. You know, his response was, "I'm sorry. I guess this isn't really helping you at all, is it? Be safe getting home." And he left. That man deserved a gold medal star for how he handled that. And I will never forget that. Sometimes I'd be at work and suddenly panic would set in. I would jump up from my desk and go to a coworker's office and start talking fast to no end. My hands would shake. I'd start rubbing my face. I just knew they could hear my heart beating as loudly as I did. And I didn't care because at least they would be able to see me die, which is, a pattern here. I never did die. When it was over, I would go back to work. That started happening a lot. Another time, I was sitting on the couch with my husband and a panic attack came on. I jumped off that couch, ran to the door, opened it, and ran outside. Why? Because in my mind, I was dying at that moment and I needed somebody to see me die because clearly my husband must have suddenly gone blind and wouldn't notice me dying. And I know it all sounds ridiculous, but in those moments of panic, you really believe something bad is happening. I mean, I have rushed myself to the hospital on more than one occasion, knowing I was for sure having a heart attack. They hooked me up to monitors, ran all these tests. Yeah, it was a scene, man. And I don't laugh to make light of this. I have to laugh. Laughing and making jokes about it have become coping mechanisms for me. If I didn't laugh at myself, I don't know what I would do. Honestly, it's very scary in the moment, but when I really look back at it, some of that shit is funny as hell. I feel like I'm more equipped to deal with it now because I'm not afraid of it anymore, if that makes sense. I'm sure it's partly because of my medication, but that's okay. Whatever works, right? I don't live in fear of the next one. And when I feel it coming on, I just go with it. I would remind myself of 2 Timothy 1:7. For God did not give us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and a sound mind. In my heart, I know that God has a plan for all this. I just wished I knew what it was and how long I would have to go through this. I'll leave you with this story. Way back when, I worked for a company that was going to have an employee golf day. I would have to drive about an hour or so to get there on the freeway. Yeah. So I'm driving along the slow lane praying. I get off on occasion to take a short break and pull myself together. So this last time I get back on the freeway and I'm going along when I see a tunnel ahead of me. I actually think I died right then and there. I don't know. All I remember is my hand rubbing my face, putting my window down, blasting the music in hopes that it would help me get through it. The tunnel was spinning like all get out. I heard a lot of honking and cars flying around me. I was crying. It felt like it took me an hour to get through that short tunnel. Finally, I saw a light at the end of the tunnel. No pun intended. My heart was pounding. I was breathing hard. I was sweating, but I was out. Whew, I breathed a sigh of relief, looked up only to see another fucking tunnel ahead of me. And there was another one after that. It took me about 3 hours to get home because I had to find back roads to drive. The point is, 99% of what we think will happen won't. And when we get ourselves in a predicament like tunnels, do what you can and God will do the rest. I feel you. I see you. You're not alone. It's okay to not be okay. Reach for the healing. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I hope this will encourage you to speak up and get you the help you need. If you need information, go to thesaltychristian.com and click on resources. It's not an exhaustive list, but I'm adding more as I find them. If you don't find what you're looking for, email me at thesaltiestchristian@gmail.com, and I will do everything in my power to help you find the necessary resources you need. Remember to subscribe, share, and leave a review. Until next time, I'll catch you on the next episode of It's the Salt for Me. Until then, be blessed and be a blessing.
It's the salt for me. It's the salt for me. Salt shaker. To the way maker. It's the salt for me. It's the salt for me. Salt shaker. To the way maker. It's the salt for me. It's the salt for me. Salt shaker. To the way maker. It's the salt for me. It's the salt for me. Salt shaker. To the way maker. It's the salt for me. It's the salt for me. Salt shaker. To the way maker. It's the salt.